Hello, let's do a quick chat about Harlan Ellison's collection, I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream. Harlan Ellison, science fiction author extraordinaire, who was a complete asshole. And unfortunately, this book has a lot of asshole Harlan Ellison in it. I did read one of his other books, which was actually a novel, which was a lot more successful for me. Possibly because I saw, let's see if I can even find it. It was only one example of probably a a terrible female character. What is that? Spider Kiss. Yes, I read that. But this kind of, unfortunately, a short story collection, I think, can highlight the strengths or the weaknesses of an author, and this very much highlights Harlan Ellison's biggest weakness, the one that will, I think, will probably just consign him to being an author of a certain era and not particularly going forward, and that is his attitude towards women. This is not a revolutionary statement. It's just like, wow, reading this book, it's the unescapable takeaway is that Harlan Ellison, at least as author, had a lot of trouble with female characters who are shrews, are untrustworthy sluts, it's just like in every where basically kind of rape is seen as something that they actually like. It's all of the worst stuff. This was written in, I think the collection was put together in like 1967, and it has just all of the worst kind of attitudes towards women, the kind of stuff that makes you go, yeah, I mean, I don't need to be convinced that feminism is a good thing, but books like this really hammer that home. Yeah. And, something that he was probably completely blind to in his stuff, these many bitter characters, bitter narrators, as well as characters who, just terrible characters. There's also the thing about Harlan Ellison, whether you like his work or not, it's got a lot of Harlan Ellison in it, and he has a certain kind of a snarky attitude. He uses a lot of kind of vernacular of the time, which dates now, very much like just how he's talking sounds like kind of some kind of a hip guy of the 1960s, which you read it now and it's like, oh, this sounds like sort of a caricature of that, versus, oh, I'm actually getting the fiction. It's got a lot of that kind of mannerisms in it. The other thing is that because it's Harlan Ellison, he wants to tell you, and if he's not telling you very kind of bluntly in his stories, these kind of morality things, there really are morality tales in his stories, he's also telling you in his introductions. He was a television host for a while, introducing stories, and this is very much, you could see him up in front of the camera introducing his story. They all kind of low, and that is why, that is, and so that is why I have no mouth and cannot scream will be the thing that comes up on the screen or in the book. So you get a lot of him telling you about him writing the stories and about his attitudes and his stuff like that. And it's, if you eat that up, yeah, it's great. But if you're like me and kind of are a bit turned off by that, and want to just like, okay, I should just try and set aside Harlan Ellison and focus on the works, that's made very difficult by all the introductions and by the fact that, he was not shy. He put himself into this book, and I give him credit for, what this is. He's saying the parts that at least nowadays would be the quiet parts that people wouldn't say out loud. Well, we're getting less of that, and we're now getting more and more people very comfortable saying the quiet parts out loud. You could give him points for just his being reflecting accurately what the male psyche was at this time. This is far more about what males are like at the time than it has anything to do with the kind of the stiff cardboard females caricatures that he puts up there. That unfortunately that points all way back to the male author, not to the female characters in these stories. So, you know, it's one of these books you can see, if this is the apex of Harlan Ellison, it's going to date, if not for the really retrograde viewpoints on women, just the really dated language. There are interesting ideas in here. The title story, I Have No Mouth and Must Not Scream, is about an AI who is taken over and tortures the last five human beings on Earth. One of those being a woman who gets continually, they forces the other male characters to continually rape her. That kind of anger just permeates the book. Is like there's an anger there from the AI, which is like, why have you created me? It's the whole thing of, if we could track down God and hold him to account to all the horrors he has perpetrated by allowing human beings to be created. That is sort of the idea of the AI. There is a very kind of biblical hell being perpetrated here in this science fiction story, which is, there's a reason why it's the title story. It is the most striking. The rest of the stories, it's not so much of what is going to kind of go in there. There's one that's pretty Maggie Money Eyes. I can remember that story because the woman in that story kills herself after being kind of, you know, a hopeless wretch, and gets put into a slot machine. But it turns out that it's a vengeful female spirit who sucks the protagonist into the slot machine instead to gain her freedom. It's all climbing up over each other. It's that kind of a hell, that world. That is it Hobbesian, or is it kind of older than that? It's Bruegel and his hellscapes of all the kind of the swarming, slimy, tortured creatures, horribly misshapen, slithering over each other. So, I mean, he is going for a horror thing here. He is not looking at the happy side of life, but it is significant that when he thinks of the horror in the female, he's got very kind of narrow parameters. Yeah, it would be interesting to look back again at Spider's Kiss, which wasn't going for the horror thing, and seeing if that is still there, those attitudes towards women. And Spider Kiss was originally published in 1961, so it's not even it's an earlier work than this one. Yeah. I guess those are my rambly thoughts on I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. A book that, you know, either seems to get 5-star reviews from people or 1-star reviews because of the misogyny. I think I ended up giving it 2 things. Giving it, you know, because people say, like, you know, give him credit for being a brilliant writer. I find his work a little overwritten, actually, for my tastes. It just that kind of that persistent voice, I think it feels affected to me. It doesn't feel like I've got the narrator as a character. I feel like the narrator is conjuring up stuff. But you get, you know, 5-star reviews of people, you know, I don't know. I'm going to leave it there because I've been rambling along for as long as I need to, and I should stop.